Hey, I'm 20, a gay guy in college, and I've been wondering how heterosexual guys actually feel about being friends with someone who's gay. Most of my heterosexual friends are cool, but they constantly make jokes like, "You probably have a crush on me," or act like every gay guy is secretly into them. I can take a joke and joke back for sure, but when it's nonstop, it gets annoying and makes me question if they actually see me as just another guy friend or if they see me differently because I'm gay. So I'm just curious, do heterosexual guys genuinely see gay friends the same as any other guy? Or is there always some kind of difference? Story 1, it's fine. There are things that matter to me in a friendship, and sexuality is extremely low on the list. Story 2, never really bothered me. You would definitely be getting jokes, but nothing I wouldn't joke about with any other guy friends. If anything, I would have to change the usual jokes to you needing some attention or something, since it's all male genital humor with my heterosexual guy friends. But you would get the ribbing just the same as them. I always found the "bet you have a crush on me" to be the most embarrassing. Story 3. It's completely okay with most men. Sure, you get some insecure individuals, but they're just about 5% of men. You could have any identity, and you are my friend. Story 4. Gay men are awesome friends. However, straight men with low confidence or stubborn thinking may have difficulties with gay friends. As long as being gay is not your entire personality, meaning you can talk about other things, it's all good. I am unlikely to sleep with my straight friends, and I am unlikely to sleep with my gay friends. Sexuality really does not matter. It does mean that if I am straight and single, having a gay friend with me means I have company but not competition if a cute woman shows up. The same goes for him if a cute man shows up. Win-win. Story 5. If I had to observe all my gay friends and outline the common denominator, it's that they do not have a victim mentality and they never skew topics towards being gay. For example, if we are bantering back and forth, none of them ever turn it into, "You only said that because you're homophobic." That sort of thing just never happens in my groups. Similarly, they are not the activist type attending Pride Month parades and making everyone who is not gay feel bad for being born straight. I say this because I feel that my gay friends are not very representative of the gay community, which is far more toxic to deal with. Funnily enough, my own gay friends get berated by the gay community. Story 6. I am 26 years old, male, and heterosexual. I find them more cheerful, positive, true to themselves, deeply genuine, empathetic, and caring. I have about 3 gay friends, and I can ask them almost anything about women. They are awesome. Story 7. Totally cool. And no, I don't think every gay man likes me just because I am a man too. To me, my gay friends are just my friends, not my gay friends. Story 8. Straight men see gay friends as gay friends in the same way that gay friends see straight friends as straight friends. It is disingenuous to say men are all men, but not in any way that should be concerning. It simply means that both straight men and gay men inhabit many overlapping social circles because they are men, while at the same time existing in many very different subcultures. Sexuality is likely to make zero difference for activities like game night or horror movie night, but it can make a significant difference in other cultural areas. When I hang out with my gay friends and I am the only straight man, it is clear that there are topics we all understand equally, and others where I might as well be a tourist. That is okay. To be clear, this dynamic exists with many different people who fall into certain personality categories. Sexuality is just one of the easier traits to categorize. Bottom line, there is nothing to worry about. It is really just about overlapping interests. Jokes about crushes stem from straight male insecurity, and while it can be uncomfortable now, it tends to fade after college. Story 9. This is me being honest, and maybe it's bad, but it's the truth. When men are hanging out with just men, there is an assumption that you can be completely unfiltered. A group of men will say many things when it's just men, but that same group will have a smaller list of things to say when women are added. There is a certain filter you apply around women, just as there is a certain filter you apply in different friend groups, work settings, with grandparents, and in other situations. If I am with a gay man whom I do not know well, I would apply 30 to 40% of the filter I use around women until I determine if he is relaxed or not. With my close gay friends, I have absolutely no filter at all and see them as just men. But before establishing close friendships, I apply 30 to 40% of the filter I use around women. To clarify, I see them as 100% normal men and do not act differently around them or think differently about them. Story 10. One of my best friends, whom I have been friends with for about a decade, is gay. He was also my roommate for a year after we graduated college. We have a perfectly normal, friendly relationship, and I don't think of him any differently than I think of my other friends. I mean, I guess a little differently because he is a different person with different interests than most of my other friends, but that is not because he is gay. Story 11. My issue has always been straight white women asking me how I could possibly know I am not gay if I have never bothered kissing or groping a man, trying to force a sexuality onto me. However, I like gay and transgender people. They treat me like a normal person more than straight people do. Story 12. It's possible they are trying to relate to you or tease you with the constant jokes about you having a crush on them, in the spirit that making fun of close friends is how you show affection toward them. If it bothers you because it has become excessive, let them know that you respect them as brothers and you hope that they view you that way as well. Story 13. My gay friends are pretty chill, and to be honest, I don't think much of it. Like a male-female friendship, respect boundaries and you can be friends, but once that boundary is crossed, you risk losing a friend. They have told me that they know some gay men who are attracted to straight men specifically, and it gives them a sense of ego boost. So if you try to do that, I can see there being issues. However, I would argue that most sensible men do not really care about your sexual orientation. Story 14. As a heterosexual man, I honestly think a gay friend who would half-jokingly, half-seriously express romantic interest in me would probably do more for my mental health right now than any amount of therapy could. Story 15. I would never say that to a gay friend. I would never say that to a straight woman friend either. Story 16. I don't care to a degree. I have friends who are part of the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and questioning community, and while we may not see things the same all the time, I don't treat them any differently. I don't see a person's sexual orientation as a defining characteristic of who they are. One of my friends I worked with was openly gay, and he liked to joke around with people, which was funny. He always said that he didn't like the over-the-top flamboyant, in-your-face attitude about it. He believed those people made it harder for others to be accepted, and I agreed with that. If your entire personality is, "Look at me, I am gay," then expect straight people to be annoyed. When people are annoyed enough, they lash out. Story 17. I have several friends, and I couldn't care less about their sexuality. They are just other guys. When I was in my 20s, it was great because they always had drugs or knew where to get them. If they joke about it, just mention that they have nothing to worry about. It will be interesting to watch them try not to get upset that a guy isn't attracted to them. Story 18. I think this is just a common type of humor among men of that age. Some of my younger brother's friends are like that with each other, whether they are gay or not, and they just go with it. Story 19. Times have changed, but not everything changes. In college with my male friends in the 2000s, there were many jokes about being gay or doing gay acts. This was a small part of general jokes where we teased each other. I was in the dorms with 2 shared bedrooms. My 2 roommates, one a macho sports guy from the countryside and the other an extroverted social guy from the city, and I, also an outgoing city guy, lived together. When my extroverted roommate came out to our friends and roommates, my roommates did not want to share a bedroom or dorm with him. He was heartbroken because they had gotten along well when they thought he was straight. I offered to swap bedrooms to be with him so the other 2 would feel more comfortable and we would not have to change dorms mid-semester. I was already good friends with him after living together for 3 months, and I never treated him as less than or different like the others did. My gay roommate is still a friend more than 20 years later, along with others from the dorms. I had 2 other gay male friends in our large social circle, and though some did not make the same jokes around them, the group dynamic did not change much. Now we are more progressive about jokes. We only make slightly homoerotic jokes about sharing beds before friends met their wives, especially during camping trips. Story 20. They are probably trying hard to joke around and show they do not care about your orientation. They are still poking fun at you and each other, not realizing you are seeing their jokes in a different light. Story 21. I am old. I have had homosexual friends here and there for most of my life, It makes no difference to me. People are people. Story 22. I don't have a problem with being friends with a gay person. It becomes an issue only if their entire personality revolves around being gay. This is rare, but I have met gay men who would always mention that they are gay, even if the conversation had nothing to do with it. Story 23. A lot of young heterosexual guys are extremely insecure about identity. They genuinely do not mean anything by their joking and often genuinely view you as a friend, but the joking is like a heterosexual beard to hide their insecurity. You will get the occasional guy who is questioning and either does not want to be questioning or is massively closeted, and you will get the occasional person who is phobic and does not know how to handle it other than with jokey jibes. However, these days, most people are evolved enough not to care and are just being immature because they are young males and they truly value friendship. Story 24. Most of my gay friends are just normal men who happen to be gay. It's the overly flamboyant type that I have a tough time hanging out with. Either way, I am not making any gay jokes. That would be inappropriate. Story 25. I will treat a gay friend the same way I treat a straight friend. It makes no difference to me unless they hit on me or make me uncomfortable. I have had lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender friends before, and none of them have ever made a pass at me or been creepy. They have all been good friends, and that is what matters to me. Story 26. I have only had one, and he was awesome. We worked together and got along great. He was just a good guy. Wherever he is now, I hope he is doing well. I should say that I do not think I could be friends with an overly flamboyant gay man. Nothing against them, but it would be too much of a personality clash with mine. The same goes for very feminine women. I just do not have much to talk to them about. I would absolutely hang out with and be friends with a gay man. He is just a man who likes men. If he likes sports, history, or video games, that is someone I can relate to. Story 27. Lived with a gay man for a year and a half. It was just like being friends with any other man. No jokes or topics were off limits, and as long as he respected that I did not swing that way, there was never any issue. Story 28. As long as mutual favors are on the table, sounds great. I have never cared about the sexuality of my friends. I am not planning on pursuing romantic relationships with my friends, regardless of gender or sexuality. I just have to get along with the person the same as I would with anyone. Story 29. Hey, at least we are never going to fight over a girl. That is a guarantee you do not get with straight friends. Story 30. I have two brothers who are currently dating men. As long as you are not self-righteous and can be a friend, we will get along fine. Story 31. All I can say is, it would not make any difference to me at all. I will be friends with whoever. I did once have a gay friend who I think had a crush, though. It would only be different if you made it different, basically. Story 32. I mean, what can be better than a group of wingmen who do not run off with the girl you like? But no issue for me. I live in a pretty lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer-heavy friendship bubble, but I myself am straight. Story 33. One of my friend groups consists exclusively of gay men. I am the only straight man in the group to make it more diverse. I love hanging out with them. Story 34. Gay men are pretty cool. They can give you both the men's perspective and women's. It is actually quite accurate. Story 35. Bro, if we are friends, you are just my friend. I do not care if you are gay, straight, or a non-player character. The jokes are just how guys talk sometimes. But if it gets old, just roast them back. Story 36. I am a 34-year-old. I care for my friends because of who they are and how they behave, not the gender they choose to date. What you describe sounds like young, insecure children with low emotional intelligence and no sense of humor. Story 37. To be honest, I like having LGBTQ+ friends because I feel like you can open up to them more about personal matters or talk more openly about relationships. Story 38. I do not care what team you support as long as you are cool, fun to be around, and genuinely act and care like a friend, provided you do not try to hit on me. Story 39. One of my best friends in college was gay. He was the first gay person my age I got to know really well. We had many great experiences, and he helped me grow as a person. I was obviously not his type, so I was never worried about him getting a crush on me, similar to how I might worry about that with a straight female friend. We had a funny moment at the movies once where the person at the ticket booth thought we were a couple, and he was so offended and borderline disgusted. I couldn't stop laughing. Overall, we had a blast as friends. To answer your last question, I think it depends on the people involved. My friend was a super flamboyant theater major and very open about his sexuality and desires. He would literally stop talking mid-sentence and mutter, "Oh my God." If any remotely attractive guy walked past us, then ask if I saw how hot that guy was. His sexuality was a huge part of himself and was often at the forefront of his personality, if that makes sense, like in his mannerisms and the way he spoke. He was unapologetic about it, which was really cool to see. He would absolutely slay. In this way, he was very different from my other straight friends. However, I'm also friends with a gay married couple who are much more subtle about their sexuality. Obviously, they are gay as they are husbands, but they don't talk to me about their sex life or drool at attractive guys walking by. The kinds of things we do together or discuss are the same as I would with any of my other friends. Another example is when I'd see a movie with my theater friend. He would completely disregard the plot when selecting movies and instead base it on how attractive the lead actors were. He watched a lot of the Thor movies with me for Chris Hemsworth, even though he didn't care for Marvel. My other two friends, however, select movies based on plot, directors, and the reputation rather than the body of the lead actors and actresses. I think these differences ultimately come down to personality types. You can see how their different personalities would influence how similar they are to my straight friends. Hopefully my comment was helpful to you somehow. Also, I think all the joking your friends do is kind of weird and makes them seem quite immature to me. Story 40. I feel fine. I had a good friend who was a gay man years ago. We eventually grew apart for other reasons. He never made any inappropriate jokes. Story 41. If he is not flamboyant, which can be annoying, I do not really care. However, I will tease him. I tease all my friends. I would use it to make him the butt of jokes sometimes. But it would not be the only reason I tease him. I am funnier than that. Story 42. I don't care about what you do in the bedroom. As long as you can take a joke and are not overly flamboyant, we will get along fine. Story 43. I can ask him to rub fronts with me in our underwear, and it wouldn't be weird or gay, only slightly. Story 44. It's like being friends with any other guy, except he is way fonder of jokes. If they are joking around with you, then it means they feel comfortable with you. If it starts to get annoying, just tell them that's enough. Story 45. Normal straight men see gay friends as other men. What other people prefer is not important to me. Story 46. I have a friend from work who is gay. We go out for breakfast together when our days off line up. He is as much of a gun enthusiast as I am, so we go shoot a few boxes of ammunition out where I keep my horses. We sometimes ride together. He wants a horse of his own. I tell him he could keep it out there with no problem. One more horse will not matter. He is a good person. He has shown himself to be a true friend more than once. He has had friendships with straight men that turned sexual, and the dynamic changed. They were not friends for long after that. I tell him he does not have to worry about that with me. I am already getting everything I want from our relationship. I have never been one to keep too many friends, and those I call my friends I cherish. I will not ruin it for something as easy to get as sex. Story 47. I'm fine with having gay male friends, but I do not want to hang out with effeminate men. Not because they are effeminate, but because our interests are different. When my friends say to me, I am going shopping, do you want to come along? I think that we are going to a supermarket to buy food. Story 48. Guy gays love me and I love them. I grew up in the Bay Area, been a part of my life since birth. And I'm a conservative. I'd fight tooth and nail for any of them. Story 49. Sexuality does not matter in friendship for me, but a sense of humor does, among other things. Maybe their sense of humor does not match yours. Story 50. I am straight and my best friend is gay. We joke, but personally I think there is a line I should not cross. My friend makes jokes, but I think it is kind of inappropriate the other way around. Occasionally I say something, but he receives criticism from homophobic people regularly, so I do not want to add to it. We are both also extremely open and talk about our sexuality all the time. It makes for really interesting conversation. Story 51. I have two. There is no problem, they are cool. Them in particular, I must state. Just like my straight friends, no problem, they are cool. If you are cool and we get along, I do not care if you are straight, bisexual, or gay. That really does not matter. Story 52. Other than the fact that he is gay, which rarely comes up when we hang out, he is just another one of the guys. Story 53. No big deal, I have plenty of friends who are gay, and I don't even notice their sexual orientation. They are just my friends. Story 54. When my best friend I had known since kindergarten came out when I was 19, I thought, makes sense, and went back to work. Literally nothing about our relationship changed. The same happened with his now ex, who is just a really cool and sociable person. I just don't care. Having a gay best friend also comes with the huge benefit of complete certainty that you will never catch feelings for the same woman. Story 55. I am a 35-year-old male and have a couple of gay friends. I treat them like one of the boys. For example, we all call each other names in a joking manner and make fun of each other. I would do anything for those men. Story 56. They are treating you the same way they would treat a good, straight friend. If they are not teasing you and giving you a hard time, then you are not one of them. Guys trash talk each other all the time. It is normal. Story 57. No difference at all, but just like my female friends, I really hope he does not develop romantic feelings. I specifically only stay friends with people I will never date or have a romantic relationship with. The minute they express romantic feelings, I go no contact with them. Story 58. I'm just friends with the person. Where they prefer to be intimate doesn't really matter. My gay friends are just my friends, you know? I think people as a whole put too much emphasis on the sexual aspect of their identity. We are much more than who turns us on. Story 59. Immature jokes, but you are 20, so it is to be expected. You will find some guys eventually who are more mature to hang out with. Just keep being yourself. Story 60. I have a colleague who works with me and we hang out outside of work. We have no problems. I have met his husband, and he seems nice. I have never had any issues. Story 61. My best friend is gay. I don't notice unless we talk about our relationship experiences. I presume you are quite young. Your friends should not be talking like that to you, but I appreciate that male friendship dynamics are complicated. Story 62. Given I am bisexual and sexually active, I am definitely biased, but it sounds like this isn't an issue with him being gay, but with the joke getting old to the point of making you uncomfortable. If that is the case, then it is time for an adult conversation where you simply explain that the joke is getting old and you would like it to stop. Story 63. Don't feel strongly either way. If they are a decent person and our humor matches, we would probably become friends. Not to imply that I am decent. Story 64. I have a few friends from college. I have not seen much of them since then, but such is life. They are fun people and I would hang out with them again. Story 65. I treat everyone the same unless they show me I shouldn't. Everyone gets the same banter, initial respect, and treatment unless for some reason you show me you don't deserve that. I have had gay friends, poly friends, non-binary friends, trans friends, and so on. It is none of my business who you like. As long as you aren't making repeated unwanted advances at me, I don't care. One time when I was doing sales, my team and I had to share rooms and beds often. It was direct sales where we covered our own costs because we were contractors. A guy I was sharing a bed with came out as bisexual to me and was worried I would lose my mind. Just said, "Okay. I appreciate the trust in telling me, but I don't really care." He was sure I would freak out, refuse to share the bed, or kick him off the team. I told him, as long as I'm not waking up with you grabbing my genitals or something, no worries. Who someone is sexually attracted to is none of my business unless it is my wife. Story 66. I'm not friends with women because I want to sleep with them, but that does not mean I do not want to sleep with them, at least the attractive ones. I would assume that is basically how gay men feel about their straight friends. Making jokes about that is a way to ease the tension that assumption might cause. Story 67. One of my best friends is gay, which genuinely does not bother me. We are close enough to call him my brother. Story 68. I am going to get downvoted, but I will say it anyway. My friend in high school was gay, and he said it himself. There is a difference between just being a normal person who likes guys and someone who makes being gay their whole personality. If you are the first, I doubt anyone is going to have a problem with you unless they are actually homophobic. Story 69. If a person cannot be relaxed without making it about your sexuality, that is their issue. True friends do not overthink it. They simply see you as another person they enjoy spending time with. Story 70. I have no problem with it as long as they can respect my boundaries. I will respect theirs, of course. Story 71. I am friends with a gay man and have been since college. However, he is not very effeminate, if you know what I mean. He does not hide his orientation, but he also does not act, dress, or talk in a stereotypical way. Story 72. The boys and I have a best friend who is like a diva. He is a self-proclaimed diva and queen of the bold. An expert in technology and fashion with enough confidence to put anyone in their place. He is the brightest light in our lives, and we would stand up for him if anyone disrespected him. Story 73. I would not know if my friends were gay because I do not care about their sexuality, spouse, or partner. I do not have any mutual friends with my partner because hanging out with other people's friends is too much. Story 74. I have no problem spending time with homosexual men, but unfortunately, I sometimes use the word gay to describe things. Story 75. One of my best friends is gay. He is the best wingman in the world. He walks up to girls and says, "Hi, I'm gay. Oh my gosh, you're so cute. You would totally love my friend." I walk up, and he basically does all the work for me. Story 76. It used to be when people had boundaries, but nowadays, some gay individuals try to push themselves on straight men with statements like, "Every man is kind of gay," which does not resonate with actual straight men. Story 77. Similar to opposite-sex heterosexual friendships, if you respect each other and do not try to force a relationship or any uncomfortable physical contact, then things should work out fine. I have had a couple of gay male friends over the years as a straight male, and they have been among the most fun people I have met. Especially one friend who was a drag queen. He was always the life of the party. Story 78. Doesn't bother me unless they try to hit on me. I give one warning for that. After that, I start distancing myself. I don't care about the color of your skin, your gender, or your sexuality. The only thing that matters is the content of your character. Story 79. Until he demands sex from me, I am fine. I don't mind being friends with anyone, provided we get along well. Story 80. Honestly, I have no problem with gay people and still have friends who are gay. However, I have realized a few things that apply to my specific friends. I used to share a bed with one of them on camping trips, but I no longer do that because he tried to cuddle. Another friend I went sailing with kept trying to swim naked because he was a free spirit and wanted me to do the same. When I set a boundary, he blamed it on shyness. A third person touched my genital area outside my pants on a night out. He is not my friend. These are my personal experiences with some gay people that were uncomfortable. You can call me homophobic if you want, but I am not. I am simply more cautious with friends who are gay because of these experiences. Obviously, this probably does not apply to most people. Story 81. I've only had one gay friend that I knew about. He was really a friend of a friend, but I'd see him at parties. We got along and the friendship was growing. Eventually, my girlfriend at the time, now wife, hosted a party at her place. When he was leaving at the end, he leaned in to my girlfriend and said that she and I needed to give him a call sometime. The way he said it was obviously in a dating way, as his demeanor was completely different than in any other interaction we'd had. Maybe he thought we might be into a threesome. I don't know. It soured the relationship and he moved about a year later. I don't have an issue with being friends with a gay man as long as they understand that I am not. I will say, though, that I have friends I've known for anywhere from 19 to 44 years, and getting into my circle of friends is not easy for anyone, gay or straight. I'm just pretty full up and don't necessarily want to carve out time for someone new. Story 82. One of my very good friends is homosexual. The most important thing for me is that when he came out, he did not start developing a lisp or changing his mannerisms or how he dressed. He remained himself. Story 83. I am turned off by gay men who deliberately call me honey or sweetie, get in character by adjusting their voice, and flutter their hands around. Or they adopt a sassy persona as a shield to cloak actual feelings or expressions. They often hint at or constantly insinuate that they are gay, inserting it into every possible conversation. I don't care that you're gay. I don't walk around telling people my sexuality, so why would they? It's all an act and fake. Just be yourself. I like all kinds of people for their personalities. I act each day according to my hormone levels, and so should you. If you naturally talk and gesture this way, then I apologize. I have many friends who share deeper beliefs and passions. We enjoy things together and support each other through ups, downs, tragedy, and success. That's what I want to know and learn from you. Be yourself and ground yourself in your true identity. It's no use trying to be a whirlwind, jumping here and there, and playing checkers with your own life. That isn't going to work in the long term. Story 84. I'm just not interested. Some gay men make that their entire personality, and even those who don't, being friends with them would still be a negative compared to a typical man. Story 85. I have a friend who once kept a glass plug where the sun does not shine for the entire workday. He is the funniest person I have ever met and a great friend. It all depends on who they are, not who they are attracted to. Story 86. As a gay man, I can't help but notice how concerned all your comments seem to be with fitting in with these guys. To be honest, I would examine that. A lot of gay men who didn't fit in as well with the boys growing up do this when they start to have male friends. I don't know if that's you, but I would think about it. They don't seem to be alienating you in my opinion, just silly joking. Try to breathe and enjoy your time. Story 87. I'm crazy about my gay friend. We met when I was at a low point in my life. All my friends ghosted me or used therapy language to justify leaving me at a time when I needed them the most. He and I met and he was hilarious. He's not effeminate at all, so it wasn't the stereotypical straightforward gay guy. He is good at observational comedy, can make any experience into a joke, tells the best stories, is super intelligent, and he's a great listener. He made me laugh so hard the first few days we met, and I started to feel a lot better about myself. We've talked about things I have never told anyone before, and he doesn't judge whatsoever. Not once has he ever hit on me or anything. We go on trips together and share the same bed at rentals to save on expenses. He's introduced me to some of the greatest movies, and we have stayed on the phone for more than 3 hours just talking. When people find out he's gay, they always say, "You sleep with him? What if he tries to touch you? You go on trips with him? What if he tries to get you alone and have sex with you?" He's never tried anything with me or complimented my looks. He only compliments my personality. I compliment his personality and looks all the time, though, because he's like a model hot. I don't know why he's single. My wife says guys probably think he's out of their league. I've grown protective over him. I'm 6'5" and he's 5'6". And I want him to remain single because I'm scared we won't be as close as we are anymore. It's selfish, but I don't want to feel alone like I did before we met. Yes, I'm married, but sometimes you want to talk to someone of your own sex. Story 88. As a gay man, I can't help but notice how concerned your comments seem to be with fitting in with these guys. To be honest, I would examine that. Many gay men who did not fit in as well with the boys growing up do this when they start to have male friends. I do not know if that is you, but I would think about it. They do not seem to be alienating you in my opinion. Just joking. Try to breathe and enjoy your time. Story 89. I work in the theater industry. Half the men here are experienced technical staff, and the other half identify as gay. As a straight man, I am actually a minority. Sexuality has never stopped me from being friends with people. One of my best friends, whom I helped prevent from overdosing, is gay. Story 90. It sounds like your friends are somewhat immature, but it also seems like lighthearted teasing among friends. Boundaries are important, so if it is bothering you, just tell them. You do not have to act superior about it. Just be honest. Story 91. I have a close friend who is gay, and he is the only person who will actually be critical about my outfits. I specifically ask him if something looks good or bad, and he gives really great advice. He also provides valuable insight into relationships. He can speak on female perspectives, but from a male point of view, he is a true friend. Story 92. I don't really care if someone is gay. Just don't be a diva about it. There were two men at my last job who were gay. I was friends with one. The other was a narcissistic diva. Everything was about him, and every other conversation was about being gay, pride, or something regarding the pride community. It was always in a loud and obnoxious way. The other man, we will call him Thomas, was my friend. He would bring up some pride topics too, but only if it came up in a normal conversation. He is just genuinely a decent person. We are still friends, and I went to his wedding. Story 93. I have gay coworkers that I am cool with. One is more subtle, and the other is totally flamboyant. It is not a big deal. Although one of them apparently was hoping I also liked the same gender, if you know what I mean. Story 94. When one of my friends came out to me as gay, I did not know how to respond because it genuinely changed nothing about how I felt about him. It was merely a bit awkward because I had asked him about his type of women half an hour prior. I do not mind whom you are attracted to, but please correct me immediately when I assume you are into women or otherwise. Story 95. Depends on the maturity of the guys. I am straight and have had many gay friends. I have never brought up or joked about those topics personally. However, my friends who identified as bears were very adamant that if I went to their gay bar, I would clean up. I took their comments as compliments. We were friends, hung out, and did basically the same things my straight friends did. Friends are friends. Story 96. I wish I had a gay friend. I am very interested in exploring that part of my life. A gay friend would likely help me fulfill that desire. Story 97. One of my best friends is gay. It is not like he is some sexual predator, just another guy with the same hobby interests I have. I do not know why people make such a big deal out of gay people. They are people, they just like the same sex. Story 98. I don't care. I have plenty of gay friends. It is the same as being friends with anyone else. Though I don't really see gay friends as any different than women friends either. A friend is a friend to me. Story 99. It's fine. My best friend is gay. Sexuality is never an issue. It is the person's character that counts. Story 100. They are gay, not a rapist. I promise bringing friends with a gay man will not hurt a straight man. You can even put on a miniskirt, grab some pom-poms, and cheer him on to have fun or join in. Story 101. Speaking as a straight man in hobby groups that are about 99 to 99.99% male and 50% gay, my friend's sexuality is an afterthought, if even that. Story 102. My best friend in high school was gay, and I have had various other gay friends, and I am straight. It is totally fine, but you need to communicate clearly to them that you are straight and that any kind of romantic relationship is off the table. I made this mistake once when a gay friend of mine started making advances. Not communicating this clearly can result in awkward advances that ruin your friendship. It is no different than a straight woman who is friends with a straight man. You just have to have clear boundaries. Story 103. If you are having issues with the banter, you should have a conversation about it. I am willing to bet the vast majority of people do not care at all who you sleep with. If you are an accepted friend in my group, you will get teased all the time about every possible thing. If you have boundaries and make them known, people will skip those topics. If they do not, you need a different friend group. Story 104. As long as he is comfortable with me not being interested in him, it is no different from being friends with any other man. Story 105. I do not see the big deal in having a gay friend. I have worked with several gay men and worked next door to a gay club. Story 106. Half the younger guys these days have either kissed a friend on a dare or seen so much pornography that it is no big deal. I have learned sometimes the older generation is a little more suspicious and keeps their guard up a lot more with gay friends and acquaintances. Story 107. Not all guys are really understood until they get to know you. I have been friends and partners with some. Some straight guys may think you are a prissy girl, and others would never want to cross your path. In my mid to late teens, I got in with a bad crowd. I am 41 now, I was hanging with gangsters doing stupid things. My ex was a friend in the group. People got to know me and found out I did not fear anything because I essentially had a death wish. So no one messed with me, and they had real respect for me. Sometimes we knew others with my same name, and they would use the phrase gay Matt, which was easy to know. Later in life, being a welder, I am in a masculine-dominant field of work. Show you are weak, and things go wrong, so I never had to do anything but be myself. A good friend of mine never had a gay friend in his life. We got to know each other and hung out with his family at outdoor events and holiday dinners, but he did not know. At a Thanksgiving dinner, I was invited by this individual to share dinner with him and his family because I was not able to go to my home state to spend time with my family, and he wanted to make me feel like family. I knew a few other people they invited. Well, my friend was my boyfriend. I guess the way I was treating him seemed a little off. That is when he talked to another buddy of ours who was an old roommate of mine, and he told my buddy, "Yeah, he is gay." I was not treated differently, but he asked me about it, and I gave him a small portion of my life. He is a religious person who feels homosexuality is a choice and a sin. I told him the only choice I have in that matter is accepting who I am. I said, "Do you honestly think I would intentionally make my life rougher than it needs to be?" We left it at that. As years went by, he said he finally understood that I am no different than any other slightly sane person and that homosexuality or bisexuality is not a choice, especially if not a trauma victim of sexual assault. He feels it is not a sin now because he sees I am just trying to make a life like any other male or female relationship. He has heard my life stories. He is now in his late 50s and I am 41. I have found those that try to hook you up with straight people are generally homophobic. Being around mostly straight guys my whole life, we will talk about relationships as vague examples, but not about sex. I also engage in straight conversations about females just because that is the normal thing guys talk about. I will not talk about kissing or being intimate with a guy. Most of my family is more don't ask, don't tell. My father and stepmother were very open and accepting since they have had gay friends throughout their life. A very good friend of my father's from childhood ended up being very feminine and gay, so my father's side was easier to feel open with. My stepfather and my mother are more don't ask, don't tell. My grandmother knew I was gay, but we did not talk like that. She would just say, "Do you have any pretty girlfriends?" So that is more of the experience I have had in my life. Story 108. It's cool, but sometimes it isn't. Maybe my gay friends are very interested in each other because they are intimate, and then they start flirting with each other. I end up third-wheeling. Before then, though, it was fun. Story 109. Straight man here. I feel absolutely no different about being friends with straight men versus gay men. My friends are my friends. Story 110. It would not change anything. I have homosexual relatives, homosexual neighbors, and I have had homosexual coworkers. What does it matter? Story 111. There was a comedian who pointed out that being gay and being a flight attendant who is gay are different things. If you are just into guys, cool. We can be friends. I am not so conceited as to think you will feel me up just because you are gay. I know some guys think that is something likely to happen. I do not have a lot of patience, though, for particularly flamboyant people, gay or straight. Bottom line, if you are cool, I am cool. Story 112. I am much older than you, but I would say at least half of my male friends are gay. I really do not care. They are my best supporters. Always there to boost my confidence and tell me how great I look. I love it. If your friends are making too many jokes, try pulling them aside one by one and tell them you know it is in jest, but it is getting to be a bit too much. Good friends will listen. Story 113. Straight M56 here. I have several male and female very good friends, so I am not sure what your concern really is. At the end of the day, people are people, and what they choose to do with their bodies is no business of mine. Story 114. I have no qualms with gay or any lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender people. If your friends are making jokes like that, then I would seriously rethink your friendship. Those jokes are literally just like if a straight guy and girl got together and said, "Oh, you probably have a crush on me." And it sounds so weird even in this context. So just get some normal friends, mate. Story 115. I've been friends with a gay man for 25 years. I don't care who you love. I care how you treat me and others. Do straight men genuinely see gay friends the same as any other man? Or is there always some kind of difference? To be honest, it depends on the gay man, how I see him and treat him. Some are like any other straight man, some are very feminine, some are a bit of both. In my experience, gay men seem to prefer being treated the way they present themselves. Some want to be treated more like women, and some want to be treated like men. Others are a mixed combination of each. Whether we get along depends on their interests and personality traits. Like any other person, the fact that they are gay doesn't really factor into it beyond how they want to be treated. I'll give you an example. You tell a straight man he looks terrible, he is either going to laugh, agree, ask what he needs to fix, or punch you depending on the situation. You tell a woman she looks terrible, and there is no scenario where that ends well. With gay men, it could go either way. It depends on how he presents himself, so I adjust my behavior accordingly. I hope that makes sense and you understand what I mean. Story 116. Straight men joke about their friends being homosexual all the time. That is just typical male humor. Just because you are homosexual does not mean your friends will not tease you. If they are teasing you, they are comfortable with you. Be grateful. They want to spend time with you, not use you for virtue signaling. Story 117. Those boys have crushes on you, or they really admire you. I have seen some groups of straight men express affection toward each other, especially around your age range. At some point, they may very well grow out of it. Story 118. Rest assured, if you are with the boys and they are giving you a hard time, you are one of the boys. When people handle you with kid gloves, it is because they are not really connected with you and do not want to offend or be around you. If it gets disrespectful, your friends are capable of accepting feedback and adjusting. The jokes that my friends have shared since middle school are downright wickedly funny. Absolute classics shared around. It is just how guys hang out. Story 119. I wish he would send all his attractive female rejects to me, which is exactly how I met my first wife. Story 120. Usually it is fine. Sometimes they develop a crush on me and will not leave me alone. One man even stalked me. It is crazy. I feel bad for women, honestly. Story 121. I have two gay friends, one single and one not. I've never thought either was secretly into me. I've been lightly hit on in a gay bar, and I've been completely ignored by most gay men. I've offered to wingman just like I would for a straight friend. It's not a big deal. If your friend is generalizing unreasonably, that's something to consider about their character. It's just about respect, and that always goes both ways regardless of who my friends and I are. Story 122. Many people may fear losing control because if you drink excessively with your friends, one of them might take advantage of you. To avoid that, do not get extremely intoxicated with your male friends. Drinking with them is fine, but do not lose control or black out. People who are strongly homophobic often want gay men to be attracted to them. That is why they believe it. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.